Uh, Ladies and gentlemen, Christian brothers and sisters, wherever you are tonight watching us, there is my Lutheran connection. And today, tonight in our mix, we have a very special guest, a very young, energetic, and a promising medical doctor, Dr. Ired Gbanlon, who runs an initiative. He's here with us tonight, and he will be sharing likes on the programs that he runs in Liberia in helping the honor privilege. Our studio is elaborate. We are broadcasting tonight from Freetown, where our brother and friend Gary Tabro is seated. We are also broadcasting from Connecticut, the United States of America, where our veterans Josiah F. Jockett Jr. is seated. We are also coming to you live from Atlanta, Georgia, where our host Willie Colbert is also seated, and here with me, I'm in Monrovia, Liberia. So, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome, and I will pass on to the folks so that they can do a very brief introduction, and then we get right back to our guest. So, Willie is back to you in Atlanta.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you very much. And good evening again to all of our viewers out there on our social media platform on Twitter, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Um, I would just quickly say that it has been such a great pleasure having all of us together by the grace of God. Um, Not to take much time, we are going to go strictly into our program. And today, again, for today, we're going to have our lead host. Our lead host is going to be Mr. Jokai. He's going to be our lead host, coordinating everything. Um, and we are going to go strictly to Connecticut to keep this program rolling this evening.
Thank you very much, Abel, Willie, and Jerry. It's really good, being here today again. Last Sunday, we had Chairman Fromaya, who walked us through the guidelines and timetable of the ensuing Lutheran Church in Liberia bishopric election. Today, we are having a special guest, Dr. Eric G. Gbanlon. Dr. Gbanlon is a Liberian Lutheran Christian and a medical doctor. He obtained his Doctor of Medicine from the A.M. Douglayati College of Medicine at the University of Liberia. He's a specialist in general internal medicine. And he's also a member of the Liberia College of Physicians and Surgeons. He's registrar at the West African College of Physicians. Dr. Gbanlon currently resides in the Tuporo community. That's district number 4, and he's been there for about 16 years. He's a man who believes in the people. Dr. Gbanlon runs a very good initiative. It's called Dr. Gbanlon Initiative. And Dr. Gbanlon, let me first say, I really like your logo. When I saw it, I realized that the logo has hands, I think 3 hands in 3 different leaves. And I was very keen. You have one of the hands in a green leaf, one is in the orange leaf. I'm not good at colors. Maybe that orange would be peach or something, but look like an orange leaf. And the other one in the white leaf. I'm sure you would like to talk to us, about some of your choices, you consider before arriving at that. I also see that you have a catchy and attractive motto, which I see to be a powerful philosophy of yours, is touch the people, heal the land, which I'm sure you'll also be able to talk to us about. And the areas of intervention, specifically in your initiative, health, education, security, and sports. Those are key thematic areas that everyone has some degree of interest in as far as transforming our society is concerned. So, Dr. Gbanlon, would like to welcome you to my Lutheran Connections Online TV. I'm sure this is your first time. So you are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. So, thank you again for bringing me here on your show. Uh, on behalf of the Dr. Eric G. Gbanlon Initiative, we say we appreciate the invite and we hope that information provided here will help us as a church and as a people.
Thank you
Thank you.
very much. We are very pleased and honored to have you on the show, sir. To begin with, as I indicated, your profile is very impressive and it reflects that you are a professional and a humanitarian. And I must congratulate you for your academic achievement and your services for to the people is greatly appreciated. However, there's an aspect of your profile that highlights your political district, district number 4. You were very specific. You underscore that. It stands out. And the length of time that you've lived in a district for over 16 years. So that gives me the impression that you are looking to politics as well. So let me ask you this question again. I want an honest response from you, sir. Are you considering a political run in the immediate term or sometimes in the future?
All right, so I've been around for some time, especially in the Tupelo community. I've been there for over 16 years now. And all through my stay there, I've been that leader figure, trying to take the young people from a particular stage to a higher stage, you know. And it is based on that background we've been having a lot of activities, right? We've been far back around 2018, we were a part of an NGO, right, that is called Trauma Aid International. And as a young person at that time, we started doing what I call adult literacy program, teaching ladies, that haven't gone to school, teaching them how to spell their name. At that time, my main focus was to teach them how to spell their name. Even if you cannot write a friendly letter, you should know how to spell your name. And we were there having study classes for students taking WIAC and you name it. So throughout my stay in Tuporo and District Morpho, we have been trying to lead our people, trying to take them from one stage to a higher stage. And it is from that background that the people of District Number 4, thought that I am a good leader. And for some time now, there has been pressure on my back asking me to consider, politics. But that hasn't come to light yet. We still studying the issue and knowing whether we will go into politics or not. But at the moment, we are mainly focused on impacting lives. And if we should go into politics, that would be thought on carefully and then before going into that.
So the answer is no. You're not considering any political run for now,
Yeah, for now.
but you may give that a consideration in the future,
So
correct?
so so yeah, so many things has to come into place, before considering that. Politics, sometimes people encourage you to go into politics because if they think that you are a leader, and then they may not want to give you that financial support that you need to campaign out of that. And so we don't want to go into things that we are not prepared for now. So if that is considered and we understand that the people that are saying it, they are sincere, then maybe we'll consider, but at least for now, no.
That's impressive. I realized that you being, making contributions in the area of adult literacy, like you just indicated, tutoring, students, preparing them for examinations. That's very good. But you are a specialist in general internal medicine. I would like to know the measure to which you are practicing in your area of specialization for now. Do you care
All
to
right,
talk
so
about
yes, so I'm a specialist in general internal medicine. We just graduated a few weeks ago. As a matter of fact, it was in November on November 12th. We obtained our membership for the Liberian College of Physicians and Surgeons, and then we became a specialist in general internal medicine. As we speak, I'm currently practicing at the John F. Kennedy Medical Center. That is the major, the biggest referral hospital we have currently in the country, and I'm practicing medicine. The medical discipline is divided into four major areas: surgery, OBGYN, pediatrics, and that of internal medicine. So we there currently are giving care to patients at the John F. Kennedy Medical Center, but we still awaiting reassignment by the government library. After graduation, they then reassign you to a hospital that is fully covered, especially as relates to having specialists.
Oh, that's very good. That's very good. And as a specialist in the area of internal medicine, I'm sure your contribution will be very meaningful to our society. You guys are really needed to contribute in the area of healthcare. So we are proud to have you in that area. But before I bring in my colleagues, let me just ask this question: your motto, which are consistently referred to as your philosophy. Touch the people, heal the land. Which in essence is something admirable, is something thoughtful. There's a lot that went into deriving that motto. Do you care to tell us what some of your choices were trying to derive that motto?
All right, so I'm one person that believe that the black people, black race is as equally important as the white race. Also believe that Africa can be great if we have good leaders. Also believe that Liberia in particular can be the best country on the planet if we have good leaders that will put the people first. You will agree with me that our country is far beyond, the rest of the world. And there's a need, to make our country great. And the only way our country can get that greatness that we envision is by touching the lives of the ordinary people. So if we can touch the lives of the ordinary people, our country will be healed. So we have the motto that says, touch the people, heal the land. Because if you think that you can how call it, if you think that you can liberate the people, liberate the country without impacting the lives of the ordinary people, you will be making mistake. So the only way we can transform, the situation to something better is by touching the lives of the ordinary people. It is from that level, that our country can be great.
Excellent. And you have four key areas. We will now go to my colleagues, but I just want to indicate, folks watching us, wherever you're watching us from, we are in conversation with Dr. Eric G. Gbanlon. He's a medical doctor. He just earned his Doctor of Medicine degree from our own A.M. Douglas College of Medicine at the University of Liberia. There will come a time in the show you will have the opportunity to call in and ask your questions or even text in your questions or comments, and they will be read right here. So there are four key areas we're going to be talking about today with Dr. Gbanlon, and they are health, education, security, and sports. So I will now reach out to my colleagues. I'm sure they would like to come in.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Jokai. Dr. Gbanlon, again, I want to say thank you very much for being here with us. Quickly, on our health, I see here that you said you have a free medical outreach. What is it all about? Like providing free health services, and who are those that benefit from this free health services that you provide, your program provides?
So, as a specialist in internal medicine, especially practicing at John F. Kennedy Medical Center, we sit and see people coming, with stroke, coming in with hypertension, the complications of hypertension. We see people coming in with diabetes and some other complications of diabetes. And these people are coming from the communities. And sometimes they do not know that they have hypertension until the day they get stroke. Stroke is a fifth leading cause of disability among adults. In a major cause of death. So we we think that is not proper. We think that it's a sin to sit and then see these people come from our community, and we as a medical practitioner do not go to them and give them the education that they need so as to prevent them coming down with stroke. So we decided now to go into the communities to screen people of diabetes and hypertension, and then those that will have other elevated blood pressure or elevated blood sugar, they can be treated and then educated so that they make informed decision concerning their health. There are so many people coming down with stroke. Some of them are as young as age 40, some of them below age 40 coming down with stroke. And the only reason why they came down with stroke is because there was a doctor in the community that refused to give them the necessary information that they needed so as to prevent the coming down with stroke. So we thought that it's important that we go into the community and then screen them. And then if they know that our pressure is elevated, they can make informed decisions concerning our health. And
Yeah.
that has been
Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. I thought you had landed. Go ahead. Sorry.
and so that has been going on for some time since January of this year. As a matter of fact, we started on the 10th of January this year. In the first church that we had our medical outreach in was the Peaceful United Lutheran Church. And we have visited about 36 churches altogether since we started. We have visited 2 marketplaces and about 4 communities since we started. And from January to this time, we have treated about 1,316 persons. You know, so what would have become of these people if we were not going to go in your communities, go to the churches to do that blood pressure or do that blood sugar? Maybe by now about 30% of them have come down with other stroke or other complications of diabetes. So we think that is a good thing and we feel good doing it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gbanlon. Thank you very much. And again, I want to say it is a very good opportunity to have you on here. But I have a follow up, Dr. Gbanlon. I'd like for you to give us a general overview. Give us an overview of the health services that you provide, and like you mentioned that you see people coming to the medical facility. But again, you also clarified earlier on that you go to the community. But can you just give us an overview of the health services that you provide? Because you've already mentioned one. You talk about stroke, but can you elaborate more and give us a general overview on the health services you provide, please?
All right. So currently the Dr. Eric Gbanlon initiative is doing free blood pressure and blood sugar testing. Our medical outreach, in fact, we named the medical outreach Switzerland medical outreach, right? The medical outreach for now is focused mainly on diabetes screening and hypertension screening. We would have loved to do more, right? But we try to do what we have control over now, what we are able to sustain. So currently we focus mainly on diabetes and hypertension screening. What we do is that we go to churches, we go to marketplaces, and then carry our team with us. We do blood pressure testing. We take this BB cuff and then we check that blood pressure right in the market or at the church. We also use our random blood sugar strips, and machines. We also check that blood sugar right at the market or at the church. These people, most of the time, they are too busy to go to the hospital. So it will say we're waiting for them to come to the hospital. Maybe they'll come to the hospital when they have stroke, and we do not want them to have stroke. So we go to the marketplaces, we go to the churches, we go into the communities and do that blood pressure and do that blood sugar. Then, if that blood pressure is high, we give them medication that will be taken until they are able to raise enough money to continue the treatment. Because we understand the treatment for diabetes or hypertension is lifelong, and we are not that strong enough financially to continue giving medication, their entire life. So we give them medication that will take them for at least a month, hoping that within a month they will be able to raise money, to continue that treatment. Because it's not fair, right, to just do somebody pressure and say it's high and say your pressure is high, go. You know, if you do it and it's high, you should be able to do something about it until the person is able to prepare, himself enough to get medication afterward. So that is exactly what we have been doing. We haven't focused on other tests, we've just been on diabetes and hypertension screening because we are able to control that for now.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gbanlon. I'm going to use the opportunity to the rest of my other panelists to ask some questions.
Thank you so much, Joka. Thank you, Willie, for the opportunity. And I also want to express my appreciation to Dr. Gbanlon. Sorry that we are in a public space, but you seem to be quite a young doctor, and I already marveled that. I won't want to attempt to ask you for your age, but it looks like most of us here on the panel may seem, maybe our faces, may seem to be older than you are, and with the exuberance you have, I really admire the kind of step you are taking. But quickly to the question, one of the questions under the health that I would like to know. You are talking about looking at blood pressure and also diabetes, and you talk about sustainability. I want to know, for example, do you have the kind of medication looking at the degree at which you will be able to assess the medical problem of some of these patients that you go up around, trying to treat? Do you have insulin that you give them? You say you give them treatment. What kind of treatment do you give them? Do you give them those kind of treatment that will help to cure, some of those diseases that you detect? Do you have insulin to give them? Do you have other medication that you give them that try to even not end the blood, the diabetes, because sometimes it's perennial, but at least to suppress it so that it does not escalate from maybe one level to another? Can you clarify that, please?
All right. So when we go to the church, when we go to the church or the marketplaces and we do the blood pressure, for example, is elevated, we have two major medications. according to landmark studies, especially as it relates to medicine, we treat hypertension with what we call dual therapy, and the combination therapy that works best, especially for the black people, is the combination of a calcium channel blocker, for example, in the Philippines, and hydrochlorothiazide, diuretics, for example, HCDZ. So what we carry for hypertension treatment is the nifedipine and the HCDZ. Now, we understand that some people, when we meet them, they may be having some other complications of hypertension already, and they may need a special medication, special treatment. For them, what we do for them is that we make prescription for them and then advise them where to get it, where to go, But those that will have straightforward hypertension, we treat them as per the guideline, treatment guideline. But those that will be having complications, some of them will have hypertension plus, features of kidney disease. For that, we advise them on what to do. Now, when it comes to diabetes, most of our screenings for diabetes is done in people above 40. And as per the literature, people above 40 may most likely have what we call type 2 diabetes, right? And type 2 diabetes is being treated by giving people, anti-diabetic medication, for example, metformin and Downy, right? So we carry along, metformin and Downy to treat people that we think have type 2 diabetes. And then we encourage them to check the hospital routinely to see whether the blood sugar is being controlled by the medicine they are on. We do not treat people with suspected type 1 diabetes mellitus. If we screen you, right, and we notice that if maybe you were around age 22 or so, and we screen you and we know that you have elevated blood sugar, we then advise you, say, oh, your blood sugar is elevated, and coupled with some other symptoms that you have, we think you have diabetes. And the most likely type you may be having is type 1 diabetes. And type 1 diabetes is treated with insulin, and we do not have insulin here on the field. So we advise that you go to, for example, John F. Kennedy Medical Center for treatment. But I will help you in the process. I will give you my number, and then we come, and, they will help to guide you through, because we do not want them to go and then the process is that long and they feel discouraged and they cannot continue their treatment. So we'll find a way to guide them so that they go and get the treatment that they deserve. That's what we have been doing.
Thank you. I mean, thank you so much. I mean, this is more further information, and I would just want to do a follow up. I understood that you started with the Peaceful Lutheran Church, and you go into the various communities and marketplaces and all the kind of stuff. I won't want to attempt to or appear to be, so Lutheran centric. Because I know you're a doctor and your Hippocratic oath that you took talk about being, magnanimous and treating all mankind, but man, we're on Lutheran connection. And so we got to put Lutheran first.
We got to talk Lutheran.
We got to talk Lutheran. God bless. At least you are a Lutheran, man. So
we are proud. Let me just interrupt you, Jerry. We are very proud to have you, and that's why from this that you are a Lutheran Christian. Okay, I'll define it.
Yes. And many of our people, our elderlies and shut-ins at our very Lutheran churches really do not have the means of going to the hospital, as you correctly stated. You understand? And this is a golden opportunity. So what is the scheduling? And so at least our viewers and listeners can be able to hear. And so when you are, for example, again, maybe Josiah will say, I want to be biased, not going to White House or warehouse, but going to St. Andrews. So our folks there will know that Dr. Gbanlon is coming, and they can go there to do this kind of test. And so what's your plan? Do you have schedule? Do you have a plan for the various Lutheran churches? At least you started with Peaceful. When will you be moving on to St. Andrews, so St. Matthews, so St. Peter's? Can you give us at least a tentative outline?
All right. So I've been to at least 2 Lutheran churches in the Pinsville belt. I've been to St. Philip's Lutheran Church, also on the Tupo Road. I've been to Peaceful United, where I started. We also had an appointment to go to Monsana Lutheran Church, somewhere in the Soul Clinic belt. And we thinking about visiting St. Matthew's early next year. So what we do is that we inform
St. Andrew is on the Oro in Gate Town.
Jerry, Andrew is still far away.
So,
I thought you would say that. They are going to my parish next, to St. Matthew's next.
Yeah. So
sorry, you can continue.
So what we've been doing is that before going to the church, we then inform the clergy, you know, of our proposed visit or so. Then they will then uh, announce it in the church. And then the following Sunday or so, we can visit the church and then have the medical outreach done, right? But as we speak, is it's only Dr. Eric for now, and his medical team. So it's a bit hard to go all over at the same time. We're doing it at a slower pace, but yet we are sure that we will make impact at the end. So we have Monsana on the deck. We have St. Matthews. We have other Lutheran churches, on the deck. But it will take time, for us to reach there. But if any clergy also or any Lutheran now listening to us and they want us to come to that church, they can invite us and then we can go. At one point in time, one of my brothers called me, from Wayne Ganta, and he invited my team there. Of course, he transported us, and we went there to his little village and we carried out this medical outreach there. So if any Lutheran or so from St. Andrew or the clergy from St. Andrew wants us, they can always call us. We will be waiting to go there.
This is
Okay.
extraordinary. This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
this is really good. Abel, you want to come in?
Yeah, I want to come in. I'm so impressed tonight, to listening to a very young, a very young Liberian who have earned all of these qualifications and well versed in the medical field, and most especially being a Lutheran for that matter. I mean, it makes me so proud. I noticed that you are doing so much and you plan to do a lot. But my question is, um, where you get, are you having enough support for this initiative since you started?
So at the moment, we do not have any external support. Most of what we get is what I work for as a medical doctor, and my team members too. They are also doing well. They are volunteering their services, and I must appreciate them for that. Because if I were to pay them for what they do, I'll be paying a lot. But they agree to be a part of the team. They agree to be a part of the team, and they go on the field uh, without expecting anything much from me, and that is appreciated also. But we do not have any support. There was a time that I got a little amount from a church, somewhere on the Tupo Road Calvary Belt. I went to the church, right? And after the medical outreach, the pastor called me on the side and then gave me 1,000 Liberian dollars. And so far, that was the only pastor, that has given me something for the medical outreach. And up to now, most of the places I go and I'm talking about support, I always try to mention his name. In fact, he was also in the Lutheran church before. His name is Reverend Elisha Ian Benson. When I visited his church, you know, he gave me 1,000 Liberian dollars, and I remember him for that. But most of the churches I go to, I do not get anything. In fact, some members will even ask me to help them, get medicine for a month, all of that. But I do not get anything from where I go. But I feel good doing it because I know we are making impact, and the blessings, we will get. It's not all about the money. It's about making legacy. Let people remember you for something. And I feel good doing it.
Before we get to the
Absolutely.
next topic,
Yeah.
our lead host, Josiah, you threw in something from the initial stage when you had Dr. Gbanlon on, and I would just want to chime in a bit, if you won't mind, since I'm happy to be a diplomat and a politician at the same time. I'm also keen in
I don't mind.
Please
in
go
wanting
ahead.
to know. Yeah. Uh, Dr. Gbanlon, Socrates will always say, know thyself. The unexamined life is not worth living. You told us that you are still studying the situation, even though we took particular notice, like Josiah said, of you're mentioning district number 4, Tuporo, which is a densely populated community. And I believe that a lot of people have felt your services. How long will it take you to do your inner session, your consultation before considering uh, trying to, go into broader leadership or mainstream leadership? I'm sure that you have examined yourself. You know that self. How long does it take you to believe that you can provide the kind of leadership that the people of District Number 4 will need, as opposed to what is currently or what they are currently feeling now? How long will that take you? And what's stopping you?
All right, so I've been seeing myself as a leader from day one. I remember a particular conversation that I had with my father when I was in the fourth grade. That was years back. You know, and he asked me, he said, "Eric, when you graduate from high school, what is it that you want to study?" And I told him at that time, I want to study to be a president at that time. And then he said to me, there's no school, you go to study the presidency, you know. But then he went on and asked me, what is it, that you see that want to become a president? And I said to him, I said, I believe that Africa can be great, you know, and I believe that I will be the one to make it great. He looked at me for long and then he did not talk. We walked out that time. You know, I've been preparing myself from day one, to be a leader. But when it comes to national politics, it's something, to be honest, it's something I like, you know. But to contest now also, there are a whole lot of things that you need to study. It's not just having the interest or the knowledge, it's about having the power, to make it happen. So it is that aspect that we are looking at. As you speak, somewhere in September of this year, because we have this political, figure, one Dr. Cassell, I guess you are familiar with that name. He's also living in a Tupelo belt. When the young people of the district decided to welcome him in the district, they they came to me as that leader, and they said, Doug, we want to welcome Dr. Cassell in the district. We want you to be a part of the team. And, and I asked them, I said, why you want to welcome him? He said, oh, the man is this, the man is that. And we, the young people, need, development to come to the district. So we need to welcome him and tell him our plan. So as that person that is also interested in development coming to the district, I thought it necessary to, purchase our effort and make that program a success to see what the district, what our communities, will benefit from that. And then at that program, my members, the members of the initiative, they are currently we have a membership of about 5,000 now in the district, But at that time, we were around 3,000 plus. So at that time, we took about 2,000 plus persons, for that welcoming ceremony. And then when they saw the crowd, they decided that, oh, but that you have so many followers, we can support you, you can contest in the district, that was tempting. Up to now, it's still tempting, honestly. But there's something that we need to study well before going to, at least for now. Yeah.
Jerry Abel, I'm coming. I know you'll be coming in, but Jerry, please know that Doug is still studying the situation. Don't get the word from his mouth right now. That's he will give it some consideration in the not too distant future. But I also
Josiah,
want him
Josiah,
to
sorry, let him remain our doctor here, treat our elderly people, and the time will come.
exactly. I was just going to mention that that I want him to, focus on let him put premium on the services he's providing right now, going to the communities, helping our people, and also what he's doing at JFK. That is going to pay off because making a difference in the life of people matters a lot. That's leadership right there. If you are able to impact people's life, you are able to bring change to their life. That's an indelible imprint in our people. It doesn't go away at all, and that's the best way to provide leadership. That I must admit, what you're doing is very impressive, and I think any Liberian will definitely encourage you to do more. And Abel asked about the support aspect. He wants to come back. I think he has another question, Abel.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Joe. Dad, thank you so much for what you are doing. Uh, you know, you are a Lutheran, and currently you know where the Lutheran Church stands. We have some of the largest medical institutions in the country. Take, for instance, the Phoebe Hospital and School of Nursing. Like we also have the Korean Lutheran Hospital in also. In recent time, we realized that these hospitals are understaffed, especially there's so much challenge when it comes to medical practitioners, especially people like you now who specialize in certain area of medical studies. Uh, uh, do you have any plan if it is now full time in kind of rendering some services to these medical institutions? It could be PB hospital, it could be the hospital is also maybe once a week or twice a month just to visit and provide some of these services. Do you have any plan for that?
Okay. Yeah. So, as a matter of fact, I was born at the Phoebe, hospital, Swakogo, and then as the saying goes, the apple does not fall far from the tree. So time in, time out, I've been visiting the Phoebe hospital. Like I remember when I just completed my internship, I then went to the Phoebe hospital. I was there for about 6 months before I started my residency program. So the Phoebe hospital is close to my heart, and that is so. But we would like to serve the church, right? And we feel good doing it. But there are so many other things that need to be looked at, especially, for example, we have an institution, right, that's mainly centered around HIV, prevention, treatment, all of that, right? I'm an internist, and part of our work is to take care of people with infectious diseases, for example, HIV, TB, But there's never been a time, maybe I can remember, but there's never been a time that I was called, to give my advice, give my experience when it comes to these things. Especially during the Corona time, there was never a time that I was called, to give lectures or so, do awareness on Corona, that has not been. So I'm still open and waiting to be called, even as we continue to carry out our outreach, continue to carry out our engagement. We hope that the leaders, the people in authority will see the work we do and sometimes reach out to us and, and then we can provide the information, provide the knowledge that we have gotten over the years. I remember during the first corona outbreak, we we called on people that were willing, to go into the communities and do awareness on corona, and we had a workshop for them at that time. We trained about 156 persons, I remember, and then we sent them into the community. But even though we're doing those things, we're going on radio stations, doing awareness on corona, going on radio stations, doing lectures on diabetes, hypertension, sickle cell, stroke, and all of that. People in the setting did not see the work we do, and they haven't up to now thought it necessary to invite us to share this experience. It is just now, and I must commend you for calling me today on the show. You know, but we still look forward to that call, and we'll be happy to honor the invitation and give back to our church in full package.
I gave back to our church in full package. The words of Dr. Gbanlon, medical doctor, doing extremely well, doing medical outreach. He's doing it without any support. He's doing it on his own. He has his own team going to communities, going into our parishes in the Lutheran Church. He has not gotten that national recognition by the church yet. It is something that needs to be done by all means. We have a health talk team in the Lutheran Church in Liberia that goes from one parish to the other, talking to people on healthcare topics. I think Dr. Gbanlon is well suited to form part of that team and to play a leadership role in that process because he's experienced and he comes as a specialist. He has so much that he has to contribute. So, Dr. Gbanlon, like we said, as Lutherans, we're very proud to have you. And in the words of my colleague Jerry, we are talking Lutheran here. So we will focus on that. We look forward to you coming over your own schedules. I don't want you to wait until you are called. I want you to look at the parishes within the Monserrato area in your reach that you can draw up your own schedule that and be able to go out to talk to the people, because what you're doing is consistent with the adage that says prevention is better than cure. And if you continue to do that in our society, you will save many lives. There are many of our people who today are physically challenged because of stroke. And these things come from having diabetes, having hypertension. So, and once you are able to curtail this from the early stage, definitely we will reduce the number of people affected by those diseases. So, folks, once again, you are in our company. This is my Lutheran Connections Online TV. We're coming to you strictly into your homes. At this time, we will go to the second pillar of your programs, which has to do with education, another important topic. That we just like for you to just give us a summary of what exactly you're doing in the area of education. What are the activities that you are undertaking now, and those that you wish to undertake but you don't have the support to undertake them, and how you intend to go about it?
All right. So as you speak, we are incorporating people into skill training programs. So, as you speak, we are incorporating people into skill training programs. We understand that there are so many people that never had the opportunity to get formal education, right? Some of them made it through high school, but they do not have the financial strength, to go into universities. So we are then incorporating them into skill training programs where they will learn things like plumbing, catering, tile, that soap making, electricity, driving, and you name it. We think that by doing that, we are empowering them, and then they will have a means of making a little money to take care of their family. Our first preference is for those that we consider quote unquote the Zogos in our communities. But for me, I love to call them the children of Abraham. When I visit them and when I talk to them, I talk to them as the children of Abraham. We all are the children of Abraham. So I love to refer to them as the children of Abraham. So when I visit the children of Abraham, I encourage them, to go back and at least learn something. If they can learn, for example, learn plumbing and try to make little money from plumbing, it will take time, right, before they stop, taking the drugs and whatever thing they are addicted to. But as they learn and start making, little money, they'll be able to take care of their family. At least they won't go out there in the night to steal, and people won't catch them to kill them. And with time, they'll have the opportunity to go to rehabilitation centers where they can be rehabilitated and be reintegrated into the society. But I think there's a need that we reach out to them and then incorporate them into skill training program. When we started this initiative in January, the first group of people that we incorporated into the skill training program were those seeing underprivileged youth, and we had that time incorporated about 26, into skill training programs, and that program lasted for 6 months, and they graduated with certificate in plumbing, in electricity, in soap making. As we speak, over the year we have incorporated about 146 persons into these skill training programs. What we do is that we found a school or skill vocational school, right? And we talk to the managers and we say, okay, we want to bring in this number of students. We want at least a discount so as we can, so as to enable us to bring more students. And then based on the agreement, we will then bring in the students and we pay their fees. All the student, have to do is to just go to school and learn and make use of the knowledge that they will acquire while learning. So that is why we've been doing as it relates to education. We would love to incorporate more people. We would love to incorporate people in universities, but as we speak, we do not have that financial strength, to do that. So we are actually focusing on those things that we can handle now.
This is quite interesting. Very, very interesting. You now have 146 persons you incorporated in various skills training programs in and around Monrovia. So I am wondering, I know that you negotiate with the management of those institutions to give you discounts so that you are able to bring in more people. I'm wondering, how are you paying? Even if it is a less amount that they're charging you, how are you paying that amount?
So we try to get the money from from what we work for. To be honest, it's a bit hard, but these days, when I'm buying a suit, for example, I'll ask myself, if this suit will cost $50, for example, I can use this $50 to pay somebody fee, and that person will be empowered the rest of their life. So instead of focusing more on things, like clothes and other things that may not benefit the people around me, I decide to do things that benefit the people around me. In the words of Socrates, he considered clothes, as accidents. He said they are non-essential qualities of a
Yeah.
being. So I do not like to focus on these non-essential qualities. I focus on things that will positively affect the people around me. Yeah.
You and Jerry are reading Socrates very ardently. He just did a quote, and you just did another one. Those are principles, that are practical in real life situations. But let me say that anyone listening to you will arrive at the conclusion that you are living and working for society. Basically, that's what you're doing. You just came out of medical school and you just started work. In fact, you are supposed to be reassigned to start your actual work. And whatever meager resources you're getting, you're giving back to society. How are you looking at this 1 or 2 years from now in terms of the way you want it to change so that you can do it better, or so that you can do it from an institutional perspective where resources are mobilized, are generated not from you personally? What are the choices you are considering in that respect?
All right. So what we are doing, we are trying to sell our vision to people and see whether we find people that will be interested, in making an impact, and we hope to get people, and not just anybody, but we hope to get support from people with integrity And, we do not want anybody to go out there, and steal money from somebody and bring it to us. We want clean money. We want it. We want it from people with integrity. So we are going out there, share our vision with people and hoping that they will come in to support this process. But be as it may, we will continue to work, but it's not about us, right? I came from a humble background. To admit, I came from a little village in Nema County where there were so many other young people that were smarter, far smarter, they are but they never had the opportunity to come to college, and work as medical doctors. Even though if they had an opportunity, but now they would have been greater, men their end. So we think that God has put us in this position so that we can help the people that were not able to reach to this peak. So we feel good doing it. It's not about us, it's not about when I was graduating from medical school, I remember I had my graduation program, my graduation celebration in the church. At that time, I was in a peaceful United Lutheran church. In my speech at that time, I said, if my life as a medical doctor cannot positively affect the people around me, then there's no need to be a doctor. If my life as a working man cannot impact the people around me, there's no need to be a working man. I want to say, if your life as a person, that is making a little money cannot affect, the people around you positively, there's no need. There's no need to make that money. If God were to take me from this position, put another person in my position, I'm sure that person will do better. So since I'm there now, it's my responsibility, to make the people around me, feel that, yeah, at least there's a doctor living around me when I'm sick. He will come to my aid. He will come to check my pressure. So we feel good doing it. Feel good doing it. Honestly.
Excellent. Just before I go to my colleagues to take some questions, let me just share with you, Doug, that at some point in time in my professional life, I also worked for the Ministry of Education. And the first task I had was to coordinate programs for the implementation of the national policy on girls' education. So there was this study that was done, and the disparity between the boy child and the girl child completing primary education was so wide. The gap was so huge. And so UNICEF decided to throw in some support to see how they can bring the girl child and the boy child, to bring some parity between them, which is at the foundation of our educational ladder. So when you talk about the Liberian educational ladder, you're talking about first early childhood development, which is way there at the bottom of the ladder. And it has to do with the wholesome development of the child, physical, mental, and then academic. We still have a lot to do. There's a gap there. The program has been developed, is structurally, it's at the Ministry of Education. But as far as the deficit in education governance is concerned, that is one of the gaps in our educational system. People like Jerry, Abel, and I had an opportunity when we, as children, we went to some of the good schools. We went to some of the Lutheran schools, and we were taught by some of the missionaries. I remember I was taught in elementary by the Bioks. They were in Zosa at the Lutheran Mission School, and then matriculated to LT. Many of our brothers and sisters don't have that opportunity today, so that gap is there. So we changed our education law in 2011, and now a course for basic education after early childhood, which combines primary and elementary. You call elementary and junior high, but it's now into one called basic education. And then you have the secondary, senior secondary, which is 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. But here is the gap in our educational system. The gap is between the secondary and the tertiary. There are many people who graduated from high school but don't have the opportunity to go further to pursue tertiary education, whether it is college, whether it is technical, vocational. So they are stuck right in the middle there. Some are not in school, they're not having opportunity at all. That brings about the opportunity you are providing, like in the area of adult literacy, and stuff. I can tell you that there is a way to go about that. For example, you can look at UNESCO. UNESCO provides a lot of support in that area to adult literacy. I'd like you to also take note of that in terms of support. UNESCO does that a whole lot. I did a project that UNESCO supported. It was called a Special Girls Education Initiative at the Ministry of Education, and they consolidated that when I left. UNESCO supported our program. They can do adult literacy, community initiative. That's one thing you can benefit from, Dr. Gbanlon. I just thought to let you know. And if you focus on that gap, that chunk of Liberians between tertiary and secondary, right in between there, you have a gap right there. You have so many people that either they are out of high school or they are not out of high school, or they are out of high school but cannot continue further to the tertiary level. So there's a big chunk in between there. If you focus your operations at that level, you can provide some help really to lift Liberians that are in that chunk. So colleagues, if you want to chip in, Dr. Gbanlon is here to take your questions.
Yeah, Dr. Gbanlon, you know, I sat back and I listened to you all of what you continue to share with the public and also with us here on set. Um, two things, two. I'm just going to quickly make these two scripture references, and then I will get to my question quick. Um, and me being an old acolyte, I remember this prayer, and it's from the book of Matthew, chapter 15, verses. Matthew chapter 5, 15 to 16. It said, "Let your light so shine before men that they will see your good work and glorify your Father which is in heaven." And I think exactly what you are doing. You are letting your light shine. You are letting your light shine. The fact that you will spend number of years in school and decide not to dress or suit up like a doctor. Instead, you choose to help your brothers. And it also reminds me of what God asked Moses in Exodus chapter 4, verse 2. He said, "What is in your hands?" The skills that you have. If you can be entrusted with the little now that God gave you, my brother, man, it is my prayer that when you learn thing about it, like every one of us now, we're just asking you to consider, focusing on the community. But if you ever consider that path in the long future, I mean, everyone here by God's grace, we're still going to be around at that time. And I believe every one of us is going to support you. The entire world community is going to support you. But I want to ask you this question. When you say we will do this, we will come in and we will go in and we will be there, what is your team composed of? Is it the same people in your same profession, or you're talking about people from other professions that join you in this initiative?
All right, so the initiative is big, and is growing, right? We have people from almost every profession. Uh, as a part of the executives, of the initiative, we got people that did mass communication, like our brother Moses Biko, who happens to be a Lutheran and the co-chair for the initiative. We have our chairman, right, who's in charge of most of the operations, of the initiative. His name is Joseph Kokwe. He he did political science. He did public administration in university. We got people from the initiative too that also doctors. Some of them are nurses, and but majority of them are outside the medical profession. So those that are in the medical profession are those that go into the field and do the blood pressure and blood testing thing, right? But we still got people outside that provide their expertise. For example, right? I'm a doctor. I'm not. Uh, a finance person, right? So we also have our financial secretary who is also an accountant. So there are so many people outside the medical profession that are a part of the initiative. Yeah.
Well, Doc, thank you so much. I see that you are building a movement, a very big movement. You is a mixture of different professions. You just bring together a couple of professionals, and this draft will definitely take you a long way. Yeah, and I just want to join Willie to say that hey, you are really touching lives. Thank you for that. But Doc would like to move to the next pillar, yeah, your programs, which has to do with security. In the same fashion, we just want you to just talk about security a little bit from your program perspective in terms of what your intervention areas are and how are you going about it.
Okay. So as it relates to security, we try to empower the community watch team, right? In most communities, especially around Pinsville, we have this community watch team that is out there in the night to make sure that the community is safe. I, for one, live in the Shara community down Tuporo. And in my community, I noticed that when I'm sleeping, there are boys that will be out, at night trying to make sure that the community is safe. So I said to myself, we can't continue sleeping and these boys are working, and not taking pay and we not doing anything to help them. So as a part of our work, especially as it relates to impacting, the people around us, we decided to give some other materials to community watch team so as to help them work, effectively. Because these boys cannot be up at night, watching us while we sleep, and then they use their own money to buy batteries, they use their own money to buy torchlight, they use their own money to buy coffee, at night. No. So we said that the little money that we will get, from the work we do, we will then give at least batteries, give torchlight, give a little money or maybe buy coffee for them so that as they work at night, they can have tools to work with. And we actually try to work with those watch teams that are being recognized by the national police because there are some communities that got group of boys, that get put themselves together. They did not get any formal lecture, it did not attend any workshop or as to what they would do as a watch team. These people, we do not work with them. We work with those that are recognized by the national police so that we know when we're giving our materials to people, we're giving it to people that will use it the right way, not people that will get people and that impure them, in the name of protecting the community. So we focus on those community watch teams that are recognized by the national police. And that is what we have been doing as it relates to security.
I see Jerry just set up. He been relaxed a little bit. Jerry, you want to come in?
Yeah, thank you, Josiah. Again, Dot, I think this is a very, very important areas that you are focusing on, security. But I would like to know from you, um, what is or what has been the security situation in your district? And when I say security in terms of physical security, and since you attempted to intervene into the sector, what has been the change so far that you have recognized?
All right. So when we just moved in the Tuporo community years back, Tuporo was considered a risky place to be, especially during the night. But with time, the community decided to set up watch teams, to help watch over the community during the night hours, and that has been gaining results, right? But my initiative decided to step in so as to, sustain the activities. Because if these boys come out at night and work and then go home, the next day come back, use their own money to buy batteries, they will get tired one day. And then these criminals will then come back in the community and start robbing people and you name it. So as to continue that process, we decided to at least give them materials so that they can work. Even if we do not have money to pay them for what they do, at least we should also contribute towards buying the materials that they work with. And that is what we have been doing, over the time. So our work is actually to try to sustain the process and not to make them to get tired. Yeah. So we have been making impact in that since they started. Most other watch teams that we have been interacting with, they are still up at night and still continuing their services, and that is our focus at least for now.
All right. I know for the well that your resources are very limited. Resources are always, scarce commodity, and yours very limited because you almost like taking everything from your pocket. Uh, so I would like to find out from you, how is, sorry if I mess up on that, how is the initiative and the community working together so that they can be able to expand such initiative to most part or most critical part of district number 4 that you reside in? How is the community working along with your initiative to try to expand in those critical areas?
All right, so before we engage the community watch team, what we do is that we go to the community chairman and tell the chairman, this is what we want to do in your community. We want to give this to your watch team. At times we ask them what is it that your watch team would need, and they will list the materials that they will need, and then we try to provide it, right? But mind you, before we visited that community, the watch team has been there, and the community have been trying to, contribute, in their own weak way. We are just trying to buttress that effort, by giving them these materials, so as to enable them to continue working. And in those communities that do not have watch team, we then talk with the chairman, whether he can liaise with the national police, where they will send some people there for a workshop. There's this special training that is done for community watch team, right? And then they are given certificate after the training. So we then talk with the chairman. Chairman will then send some people, you know, where they'll be trained and given certificate, and then they can start their community watch team. Then at that time, that we would then help them with their material that they will use to work at night, so as to enable them to continue practicing what they have learned.
Yeah, Jerry, thank you so much for that line of questioning. Dr. Gbanlon, I think you are doing so well in almost all of the areas. We wish we had a luxury of time, to continue the conversation. But we know that you'll be available whenever we need you to come back, to expand on many of the other areas that we did not talk about today. On the issue of community watch teams, I'm sure each of us here had some level of experience with that. And I got my home in the soul clinic community, so you can imagine it's obvious that we had to go through that. We also have community watch teams that some of us supported, but the fight is that what you are doing is the best approach to security. What you are doing in the healthcare area, doing education is the best approach to security, because human security is the best security. When you are able to educate people, give them professions, and create jobs, then you can address the issue of homicide, theft, robbery, and any other vice that will require physical security. That way, physical security will not become a focus. Once you lift the economic standing of the individual, then you are really dealing with security appropriately. Because when the man has the means to go to a place he called job and then be able at the end of the week or the month to get income and be able to take care of his family, when the woman is able to have a place called job, to be able to come at the end of the week or the month with income to contribute, to share, with the husband for them to take care of their family in terms of provision, healthcare, housing, everything, then you have security because you will be significantly reducing the social issues in the society. And so you are really doing a lot to address the issue of security. I think the community watch team is just an aspect because it's required, it's urgent. People are being harmed by that. I know the kind of risk that people take walking from red light to their homes. We all had that experience before, cell phones being snatched, people, being injured, people being killed in the process. So we want to thank you for everything you've discussed with us here today. I'm sure our viewers appreciate you a whole lot. We'd like to encourage you to continue to do what you are doing. We will get in touch with you to bring you on the show again, Doc. But for now, we would just like to make our rounds so that people can make their closing statements. And then we will call it a day. So we'd like to go to Jerry, our host and diplomat there in Freetown, to make his final statement.
Well, I want to say thank you, Dr. Gbanlon, for such a very, very, very stunning interview. I'm really, really, really happy to know that you are a Lutheran in the first place. And I'm also really happy to know that you are so selfless. You got a heart of gold, and there are so many people out there who will have the opportunity and won't be thinking the way you're thinking. And we are so concerned about the sustainability of your project, of your initiative. I think my colleague Josiah was trying to give you some leeway in terms of support. We are also there, like Willie said, to help in our best way possible. Because first thing, we are all Lutherans. Secondly, we all got some form of connection and contacts. And listening to you, it was good that the platform was able to expose you. I'm sure now many persons out there, Lutherans out there, know what you are into, and they will be willing to help, like some of us. I mean, especially for the medical aspect, that's your area of specialty. And going to the various Lutheran churches, we have long been wanting to see how we can do that. And if we have the initiative already existing, we are not going to reinvent the wheels. What we can do is to just try to see how we can be able to give some minimal support, and then you can be able to expand it. I hope that people didn't come back at me when I say St. Andrews, but it was just a reference point. Yes. But we got St. Matthew, we got Trinity Lutheran, we got the Josiah said in Mosorado, we could look at the data and then look at the statistic and try to see how we can cover Mosorado, and then we'll move up. So in my closing, I would just hope that Abel will liaise with you so you can give us a plan so that we can see what kind of support in kind we can also give to this initiative, so that at least you can continue to help our elderly people in the Lutheran Church as far as the medical is concerned. I want to say thank you very much for giving us your time. And I also want to say thank you, colleagues, for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Willie?
Sorry, again, first of all, I want to say thank you very much to my co-host, Brother Jerry, and also making the commitment from those of us on the set, my Lutheran Connection, to the Dr. Gbanlon initiative. Please come over plan in 2022. Reach out to us. If we cannot make it like a physical donation, there are a lot of people on this panel, like Brother Lewally, Brother Jokai, and also Brother Jerry, the diplomat, and myself. We will work every ways out, so that we make sure that whatever support in whatever way or form we can to assist this initiative. I think if we should have like just 10 Liberians that will be thinking in this line, our country will be great, like you said. Um, and like Brother Jerry said, I'm also proud. I'm very, very proud. I am a proud Lutheran today, that a Lutheran doctor will come up here, and explain those initiatives, those things that are needed by our people. And it's not only in the Montserrat era. I know you have to start. I know the journey of the 1,000 miles starts with the first step. You are in the Montserrat area. But please, let's think about Southeast. Let's think about the Northeast. Let's think about the Central region. Let's think about the Lufa region. This thing is big, Dr. Gbanlon, that you've started. This thing is big. It is a big shoe, and you alone cannot take this shoe alone. You know, we are all standing by to support every way in which we can. We will help you one way or the other. And I want to consider this quickly before I can just pass on to my next colleague. I want to take this as the church is not aware. But now that the church is aware, the Lutheran Church in Liberia, you are now aware. This is the opportunity to tap into the vast knowledge of our own doctor. This is our Lutheran doctor. We have several other doctors in the Lutheran Church. I may not be able to name all of them, but I know we have Dr. Doba, Dr. Sana, Koto Doba Sana. He's also a doctor. You have doctors, you have medical practitioners in the Lutheran Church in Liberia. Please let us tap into these people. Look at now, we're talking about COVID. We talked about Ebola before. We have HIV and AIDS. We talk about malaria. And just this common thing, I mean, sorry to take this time, but as I sit here, I think on my late uncle, Uncle Pew. One time before his death, he told me he was traveling to Zozo just to check his blood sugar. That's how, I would say terrible it is, especially in the rural part of Liberia. And brother, seeing this brother coming with such initiative to check people's sugar, it meant that Dr. Gbanlon were around the feasible era. I know God plan is the best plan for our life. I know if meant Dr. Gbanlon was in the feasible era, my uncle would have been alive at this time. But peace be unto his soul. So, Dr. Gbanlon, again, I just want to say thank you very much. The platform is here for you and every Liberian Lutheran for that matter, not only Liberian Lutheran, but every Lutheran. The platform is here for you. Whenever you want to discuss some issues again, let us know and we will invite you. Thank you very much. Guys, thank you for I'm sorry for taking much of the time, but I'm just emotional at the end of the program. I mean, such a wonderful job he's doing.
Abel, let's hear from Monrovia.
Monrovia is kind tonight. It's quiet outside. Yes, I'm sitting here in my little corner, but I'm really, really excited and moved by the conversation tonight. To have a very young person who have done so much study in the medical field and now denying the whole world, everything that he needs to have his personal pleasure, trying to pour all of his resources into a more positive venture. It really breaks my heart tonight. especially when the guy talk about the medical services. You mentioned about hypertension as considered as one of the most dangerous, a silent disease that kind of bring people down. Taking upon his time and his little meager resources, going from parish to parish, from market to market, providing those services. What a great opportunity. It sounds like he's saying, my doors are open. Here am I. Come in and just use my service. Is this not a big opportunity for Lutheran Church for us to begin checking around to come for contemplation of these young medical doctors that Willie was just mentioning few of them? There are more of them. Look how hospitals look is awesome. Look at Phoebe Hospital. Can we catalog these guys and just come out with a plan so that they begin to visit these various hospitals to get it very active? And the guy have told us free tonight that he's willing. And I guess all the other young people are willing to do that. So that you really beats my heart tonight, and I hope there's a breakthrough for the Lutheran Church. I hope that the church is listening and will be able to take some of these conversations very seriously. You also talk about education, especially providing those basic alternative education for people who mess up academic. This is where I want to welcome you. We can collaborate at this level because this is what my organization is doing as well in local, providing practical vocational skills to young people so that they are empowered to be able to, earn living for themselves, but at the same time contributing towards the development and the power movement of their communities. I'm so impressed that you are really involved in this kind of initiative. You and I will continue the conversation, maybe after here, moving forward, to see what level of collaborations we can have. Maybe we can have a joint venture and see we can develop some project paper and spread it around as Joe was just telling us. So now to take all of the time, folks, I'm so glad that we can have this platform that we are exposed people, as Jerry regularly said, that Gbanlon is being exposed tonight. And I guess people all over the world in the diaspora and in Liberia listening to us. There's an initiative we think you can come in now to support, either in cash or kind, or you can come in with your idea so that the die will be more empowered to continue what we do. Thank you.
Thank you, Abel, Jerry, and Willie. I think the show today was very fantastic. And I'm sure our viewers do equally appreciate all of the insights Dr. Gbanlon provided. That we want to say we're touched by everything you've told us here today that you are doing. We just want to encourage you to continue to do what you know how to do and know how to do it best. Continuing to do that. You can tell you don't know who's watching. Just continue to be you and then to do those great things you are doing. I was going to tell you that you've caught two big fishes here tonight. Abel, I want you to stay and stick with Abel. Abel is doing a lot. He's another Lutheran that, I'm very proud of. He's making impact in society. His program also has an education dimension that the both of you can, do a partnership to develop further. And it's going to help your initiative at the same time helping his because of the insights you all share. The second fish you caught has to do with Aliyah, and Willie is connected to Aliyah. I think Aliyah can realistically form a partnership with Dr. Gbanlon. There's a lot that they can do together. So Willie is definitely going to remain engaged with you if you guys have not started talking about that. The other thing I wanted to bring to your attention, which I never said on the show, is the fact that my late dad actually died from prostate cancer just in October, a few months ago. It was really unfortunate for us to realize at the end of the day, we're talking to almost all of the hospitals you call major in Monrovia. We only got to know that lastly at the new health center that they built at the ELWA junction. Unfortunately, I couldn't go to Liberia to have a closure with my dad because of the current political situation. And people tried to hold me to some comments that I made before in the country, but that's okay. That's the price that people pay. People like you probably tomorrow, the way you are considering having a national political leadership. We wish you all the best. Um, Continue to focus on the initiatives you're having now. We will get back to you to bring you on the show because it is worthwhile doing that. I just like to say thanks to my colleagues, the hosts. We had a fantastic show. We had a resourceful person here today that really, really provided insights important for our church and Liberia as a whole. Let me also add my voice to my colleagues to say that we have many practitioners, health practitioners in the Lutheran Church in Liberia. We'd like to acknowledge that. Even my sister-in-law, Community Brown Johnson, Dr. Johnson from St. Matthew, she's also a medical doctor, and she is involved with the outreach team, the medical outreach team of the LCL. They go from parish to parish doing exactly what Dr. Gbanlon is doing. She spends her time talking to people about hypertension, talking to people about diabetes, all the different killer diseases, and how to prevent them. So teaming up with that team, Dr. Bella, is going to be very helpful for our church. So we will try to encourage them to team up with you so that you guys can do this thing with one voice, with one front, and expand it. That would be helpful to our church, our people in the villages, and other Liberians who are non-Lutherans as well. So, folks, there you have it. We've come to the end of today's show. It was a conversation with Dr. Eric G. Gbanlon. Next Sunday, before then, we'll let you know what we're going to be discussing. The flyer will come up. Watch out as usual. But until then, this has been Josiah, Jerry, Willie, and Abel's production of My Lutheran Connections Online TV. Thank you for watching.